topic, as we have shown earlier, is it a curse or a blessing to have a resource-rich neighbor? So it is using data on gas extraction in Indonesia. So, Pak Nasir, I think the time is yours. We usually have about 45 minutes for presentation, followed by Q&A. Silakan, Pak.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Winda. So I have to share my paper first. This can be seen?
Yes, looks good, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Oh, again, thank you, Mbak Widya, for the second invitation or in this forum. And also, thank you for all participants in this seminar. And as mentioned by Mbak Widya, I'm going to share our paper with Pak Budi with the topic, is it a curse or blessing to have a resource-rich neighbor, the case of gas extraction in Indonesia? First, I'm going to explain the introduction, objectives, and contributions of this paper, and then followed by the identification strategy, model, and data we use for the analysis, and then discussing the result and conclusions. It is widely believed that natural resource extraction could be used and strategic asset to support economic development. But based on the literature review, the extraction of this resource could also cause a negative impact on on economy. And the inverse relationship between natural resource and economy is widely known as the resource curse or paradox of plenty. And related to the studies on this topic, there are some important developments. First, in the earlier empirical study, most studies used cross-country data, particularly since Sachs and Warner published a seminal paper in this topic in 1995. And then after that, many researchers become more interested in also assessing the local impact of the extraction of these resources. Black and All 2005 could be regarded among the earliest in this direction. The second important thing is the use of most disaggregated data of natural resources. The reason for this is there is the possibility that different kind of natural resource may different impact in on local on economy. And from the previous study, it can be noted that the results were mixed. Just for example, Weber 2012 in the US and May et al. 2022 in China find that the gas development cause positive impact in on local economy. However, Gopalakrishnan and Kleber and Beltrop and Howley both studies were conducted in the US find the opposite results. While Paradise et al. 2015 find that actually there is no significant impact of gas development on local economy. So this mixed result means that it is possible that the same type of natural resource may have different impact depending on the location or environment. And lastly, the investigation of spillover effect. This effect is actually is indirect impact of the extraction of these resources. So the extraction of resources could impact it among other industries or other locations. So in the context of Indonesia, gas similar to oil has been important for the economy. It is used as energy source in many sectors, electricity, household, and also for other industries like fertilizer. So during this study period, uh, this sector contribute almost 600 trillion rupees for the state revenue. And it should be noted that Indonesia has a larger production of gas compared to oil since I think last 2 decades ago. And nowadays it's representing around 60% of total oil and gas production. And because of an increase in its production, then the contribution on the economy also significantly increased. And not only for the central government, but also for the local economy, particularly after the implementation of natural resource revenue sharing. So this figure shows the development of revenue received by the local government from the gas windfall. So we categorize this period into two periods, which are gas boom period, since 2005 until 2015. Uh, because since 2005 there is a significant increase in this revenue while this period is before the gas boom period. So the average revenue in this period almost 5 trillion Indonesian rupiahs, while here is almost 14 trillion. So almost 3 times higher compared to before the gas boom. And we still share the sharing mechanism of gas based on this law. So there are still three possibilities in this case, depending on the extraction location. So if the gas extraction located in a district or municipality, then the central government will have 69.50%, and province will get 6.10. District with gas production will have 12.20, and district without gas production but located in the same province will have 12.20%. And the second possibility, if the location is in province, then central government will have the same portion, and province will get higher, and all district in this province will have 20.73%. And if the location of extraction above 2 miles from the coastline, then there is no sharing for the local government. So we concentrate in this district that does not have gas production but receiving revenue from gas windfall because their neighbor has gas production. Even though its contribution to the economy is quite significant, but in terms of empirical studies on how gas windfall affected local economy is still limited. These are examples of studies assessing the local impact of natural resources in the local setting in Indonesia. So, Gus and Rusli 2014 used oil and gas and coal. No, they use oil and gas, while Hermawan and Kraft use oil, gas, and coal. And Pezel and Purhelke use general mining in their studies as the proxy of natural resources. So, and they are not looking the impact on, they focusing on the location where these resources were extracted, not the neighbor areas. So, to the best of our knowledge, there is no empirical study have been provided assessing the local impact of gas extraction on neighbor economies, particularly in Indonesia. So as I mentioned earlier, this study focusing on spillover effect. And in this study, we categorize this effect in two types. First, we call it as natural economic spillover effect. And this generally determined by the market through supply and demand. And it could be so this natural economic spillover effect can happen in among industry called industrial spillover or by the geographic area. So it is a geographical spillover. And the second type is policy economic spillover effect. This is not influenced by the market. Instead, it is caused by the intervention of the institution, in this case, government policy. And it is actually the visible contribution because the revenue will be received by the local government through the windfall sharing. Sorry. So spillover effect is quite important because resource boom could impact the economy not only in the area close to the extraction site, but also in its surrounding areas. And the impact could be positive or negative. And so it is quite important in term of regional economic discussion. And there are some study have been provided in this topic. Uh, First, Aragon and Root in 2013 using the case of gold extraction in Peru, while more recently Garcia and Clem 2020 used the case of oil and gas in Brazil. But they focus on natural economic spillover through the demand, supply and demand, and and they use a different kind of proxy of natural resources, different from gas. So this paper focusing on the spillover effect caused by institutional intervention, particularly the impact of gas windfall on the neighboring economies. So the main objective of this study is trying to investigate the causal relationship between gas windfall and local economy in the area near the extraction site at the district level in Indonesia. So at least three contributions of this paper. First, providing empirical evidence of the spillover effect of a particular type of natural resources, in this case gas, on the local economy in the case of developing countries such as Indonesia. Second is revealing the heterogeneity impact of gas windfall either across location or across periods. And lastly, the uh, providing further evidence of the spillover effect of these gas windfall on other socio-economic outcomes such as poverty rate, number of people living below poverty line. So in terms of identification strategy, this paper explored the exogeneity of gas price in the international market. And gas price in this setting is an external cost that trigger gas boom in the local context in Indonesia. And with this setting, then we can determine or assess the causal impact of gas windfall on neighboring economies at the district level in Indonesia. And neighbors here are district without gas production, but receive revenue because of government policy. In this case, is resource revenue sharing scheme. So this is the development of price during this study period. So as you can see, there is a significant increase since 2005. And so we categorize the period from 2005 to 2015 as high gas prices, while the period here is low gas prices. And the price during this period trigger the local gas boom in Indonesia, as I showed before. So we then, based on those categories, we then providing the treatment and control group in our data set based on the production level of gas in province. So if province has production level about median in 2001, then we categorize them as rich gas provinces. And all non-gas producing districts located in this province, we categorize them as the treatment group. And if the production level in province below the median, then they are poor gas provinces, and the districts here are categorized as the control group. So based on those categories, we then have 121 districts in the sample, 26 are the treatment, and 95 are the control group. So the treatment group are district in the orange area, provinces with high level of gas production, while district in blue area are the control group, which is located in the poor gas provinces. So there are some key assumptions in this setting. First, district could not influence the price of gas in the international market, and therefore they can determine the gas windfall and also anticipate the gas windfall. And second is all districts in the treatment and control group should have experienced similar economic performance in the absence of gas boom. So this is actually the requirement related to the parallel trend assumption. So for the estimation, we use this model. YIT is the outcome variable, which is representing district GDP per capita of district I at ERT. Treat IT is the variable of interest. It is a dummy variable representing the interaction between post-gas boom and district location. Then K and L are positive constant representing the years before and after the treatment respectively. E equal to 0 is the first year of the treatment, while A equal to -1 is the base year in the model. XIT is the control group. Alpha I, lambda t, and epsilon I are individual district fixed effect, time fixed effect, and error term. Beta 1 and beta 2 are the effect before and after the treatment, respectively. So this is the variable and data. So oil and gas from Ministry of Energy and FKP gas. Socio-economic data from either Statistik Indonesia or Indodapu. Investment data is from BKP. Data of natural disaster from this agency, and general allocation fund from the Ministry of Finance, and the price of oil and gas from BP Statistical Review of World Energy. And this is the statistic of the summary statistic. So in the outcome variable, in the main estimation, we use district GDP per capita, while other variables are used for additional tests. Gas windfall is a variable of interest. It is dummy, as I mentioned before, and we have this variable as the control group in the main estimation, and this other variable used for the additional test. So this is the parallel trend test, and as you can see, there is a significant change after the treatment in 2005. And as you can see, the result here, the parallel trend tests are not significant, and also an anticipation effect test is not significant. So this support that the model we use is valid in this setting because it satisfies the parallel trend and anticipation assumption. So we then first estimate using two-way fixable. This is the panel on DID actually, and column one, the estimation result without any control. Column two, with full control variables, and column three by clustering standard error at the district level. And as you can see, all estimation results are negative and significant at 1% level. The problem with the result here is the potential influence of the dynamic or heterogeneous treatment effect. It's not captured in this estimation model. And this may influence or produce the bias result in this estimation. So to address those potential problems, then we use this model as I explained in the estimation model earlier. So as you can see, the results before the treatment and in the early years of the after the treatment, there is no impact, even though they have a similar sign, which are minus, and but gas windfall started to have a significantly negative impact on local economy after some years. In this case, 5 years, and the average effect of gas windfall on neighboring economies is around minus, the coefficient we got here is minus 0.145. And the magnitude of this coefficient is quite higher compared to the two-way fixed effect. And we also test for no-side reversal property, and it is clear that all beta coefficients in this setting are positive, receive positive weight, and therefore satisfy this property. So with this result, and this model also satisfies the parallel trend assumption since the joint placebo tests are not significant. So with this result, we can conclude that district GDP per capita in districts located in provinces with high level gas production uh, has a lower economic performance compared to those located in poor gas provinces. The difference is about 13.5%. And then we provide this test for robustness and extended analysis. So first we look at the first robustness test. So in this test we use event study design and Sun and Abraham model to further test whether the result in our main estimation is stable using the other model. And as you can see, in general, the results are relatively stable. So the impact of gas windfall occurred after 4 or 5 years after the treatment started. Even though the coefficient are quite a little bit smaller, but in general, the result stable. So again, the parallel trend assumption is satisfied in this two model, so it provides supporting evidence for the main estimation in our model, in the main estimation model. Then we provide further robustness test by adding these control variables. So column one, we control for time trend. Column two, the interaction of time trend and distance to Jakarta, and column three, the interaction of time trend and coastal indicator. Actually, these three columns, the result from this column is addressing the potential influence of economic shock during this study period, and also it may capture the socio-economic and geographical feature of on the result, because just for example, in terms of the distance to the city, the closer location to the city, it's more likely to be more developed. Similar in this case about coastal indicator. Uh, in general, coastal area are more developed compared to non-coastal area. So uh, those potential influence are captured in this estimation. And then in column 4, we control for the district speed. This is also important because it influences the amount of revenue received by the local government. And in column 5, we control for oil production, even though in our estimation, rich oil provinces are excluded, and also all districts that produce oil also excluded in the main estimation, but we still try to see the potential influence of oil production in the surrounding areas in column 5. And then we also control for general allocation fund, and this is also important because these funds are quite high for the in terms of the central transfer to the local government. It representing around 70% of total transfer for the local government. So it may also influence the result. And in column 6, we control so I mean the ROE is in column 6, and in column 7 we apply non-log form, because in the main estimation we use the log form to address the skill distribution. So as you can see, the result for all estimation are quite stable, and this support the again the finding in the main estimation. And then for the extended analysis, first we provide heterogeneity test. As you can see, the result is actually surprising because the significant negative impact of gas windfall only occurred in Java areas, while in outside Java the impact is indifferent. And also, similar to the main estimation, there is no immediate effect of gas windfall. So but in the long term, the negative impact of gas windfall become more pronounced. And we suspect that this situation may influence by how revenue from gas windfall is spent by the local government. This is only one factor. It is possible that this situation may influenced by other factors, but the problem is about the data limitation. So far we just only test about this aspect, and then we also test for other outcome socio-economic variables. So as you can see, gas windfall increase poverty rate. So it's increased poverty rate, and also number of people below living below poverty line. However, its impact on household expenditure is not significant. So again, gas windfall produce quite problem for the local government, because it increased this social problem. And we can also say that it may the increase of local government revenue is not translated to support the program that may addressing these problems. And
Uh,
this,
Sorry,
okay,
Pak Nasir. Um, can you explain a bit more about the observations? what are the observations in this case? Is it each year that you observe the data or each case of transfer by?
So, this is the panel data. So it's year from 2002 to 2015.
Okay,
So
thank you.
it's annual data.
Ya,
Okay. May I continue?
silakan Pak.
Okay, okay. So the second extended analysis is we look at the revenue spillover effect and the district expenditure. So in column one, we try to provide further argument that the impact of the negative impact of gas windfall on neighboring economies is really driven by the unnatural spillover effect or the revenue the gas revenue spillover effect, not by a natural spillover effect. So what we do here is actually we drop the district that has same similar border with the gas producing district. So, and as you can see, the result is still significant and negative. So we argue that the the coefficient we got in the estimation is because of the uh, spillover effect caused by the uh, government intervention through revenue sharing mechanism. And in column 2 and 3, we also try to assess further about how about the structure of local expenditures. So as you can see, even though it is not significant, but as you can see, gas windfall has positive association with personal expenditure and negative association with non-personal expenditure. So again, this result may help us to explain why uh, gas revenue received by local government not help to increase or to make their economic performance better. And so, as the conclusion, first, the finding of this study reveal the presence of natural resource curse in the local context in Indonesia. Second is non-gas producing district located in province with high level of gas production experience lower economic performance compared to those in provinces with a low level of gas production. Third, gas windfall also increase either poverty rate or number of people living below poverty line. And then gas windfall also has heterogeneity impact. It has significant impact on local economies in Java area, but not in outer islands. And also, there is no immediate impact of the gas windfall, and the negative impact is more pronounced in the long term. However, there are still tests are needed to provide more detail how the gas windfall affected the neighboring economies and also why it happened only in Java area but not in non-Java region. I think that's all. Thank you very much. So I hope through this seminar we will have more critics and input for this paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Nasir, for the presentation. So I would like to invite everyone, if you would like, again, if you would like to make comments, you can ask for clarifications. You can
Should
write
I
it in
stop
the,
this share? Stop this share?
yeah, okay,
Okay.
sure. You can write it in the Q&A box, or you can raise hand, and then we will unmute you to ask directly. So right now I see there is, okay, so cancel the raise hand. I earlier saw a raise hand, but oh, Prayudi Aswar jadi ya Pak. So, saya juga mengundang bila ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia, silakan juga. So Pak Prayudi, if you have a question, we have unmute you. Go ahead, Pak.
Thank you, Bu Lydia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Pak Abdul Nasir. I think that I really interested with your findings and looking from the approach that you have there, the conclusion is quite detrimental that we tends to have problems of natural resource curse instead of the blessing, right? Yeah, I found also that even for the poverty and it's also worsening not only the GDP itself. And then knowing that, actually about last year, I do research about resource-rich country because this is also taught in the IMF. If you can see, there's a macroeconomic policy for resource-rich country course about 2-3 weeks there at the IMF, and they explain everything that related to the characteristic of the economics under these RRCs and how to mitigate that. But one point that I also look from that is that they concern more about the efficiency. So that's allow or endorse the foreign ownership to capture the resources in. But then when we do the research, like whether that had an impact of the ownership characteristics and also the sovereign welfare establishment, whether available or not in that country, and looking from about 43 countries, we found that maybe one point why that this is happen, why the natural resource curse cannot be mitigated, because of once they have that kind of revenue, they tends to use that in a big push strategy approach by the local government or the government at large. I mean, that impacting the curse itself, but don't have the impact to permanent income strategy or the bird in hand strategy that can maintain the long-term revenues and also maintain the impact to the what you say as a such like a lowering cost lowering logistic cost, something like that can mitigate the impact of the curse itself or the Dutch disease that we know. Can you, for example, elaborate more whether that kind of two things like the ownership structures and also the absence of the sovereign wealth fund related to the resource as one contributing factors for or two contributing factors for the evidence that you found in this research? Thank you.
Silakan langsung
Okay,
saja,
okay.
Pak Nasir.
Thank
Is
you,
the question clear?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Prayudi Anwar for the concern. So yeah, I agree. Even though it's not tested in our paper, but I think it may relate it to the current policy, how the revenue is shared between the central and local government. Because, as you know, based on current law or current regulation, actually the the sharing of gas windfall is not considering whether the district is rich or poor, whether they have more developed or not, on whether they have better infrastructure or not. So it will be those factors that you mentioned is actually related to uh, the quality of how local government could could spend this additional fund to whether to support the economic in their area or not. So I think even though further study or test should be is needed, I think the result from this study can shed a light about how it is a possibility to review how the sharing scheme for from the natural resources should be look forward. For I mean, maybe the sharing should be incorporate or at least consider those factors included uh, the variable you mentioned. I think that is my answer or on your concern, Pak.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Other point maybe if we look for other countries like Qatar and Norway, when they receive that kind of windfall income from resources by having that 2 points, the ownership by the state and also the resource fund or sovereign wealth fund that they establish, they not only can mitigate the problems or the issue of the curse, but also can have a leapfrog of their economy. And they also align the kind of characteristic of business that related to the characteristic of the resource-rich countries. Like they are not going into the types of business or industry that like a sweatshop industry, but they go to the high capital and high income type of industry. So that and also they go to the like educational and tourisms and things that related to the characteristic of their economies, which is in line so that can be very successful. Maybe that also can enhance the point that you can have in your dissertations, and maybe one day we can discuss about this further in other off of this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak
So,
Prayudi, for
so
that.
yeah, so I got your message that whether it should the fund should be stabilized like in Norway or not, but in the end of the day, I think those funds also should be think about how those funds mitigate the problem in the local setting, because actually whether the fund is centralized in one unit or like the current strategy by directly share between the central and the local government, I think the more important aspect is how to incorporate the factor that may help to address the potential the negative potential impact of the resources of the resource extraction. Yeah, I think that's on my as my opinion.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
Pak.
Okay,
Thank
Yeah,
you, Pak Prayudi, for your comments. Do you have you mentioned that you have a research on this? Is that
yes.
something that we can link to and provide to also our attendees here? If you can send that to me through the chat or the Q&A box. You can put it in the Q&A box.
Maybe after I submit this, because this is in process of
Okay.
submitting the
Oh,
journal.
okay.
Once it's submitted, I can share also in FKP, and we discuss also later on there. Here, and also Pak Abdul Nasir, what I found is like, for example, country which abundant resource windfall like Qatar and Norway, for example. Yes, of course, the price is quite high, but the ability of the people to finance or to the purchasing power is increasing much more. So that can mitigate also in terms of the purchasing power terms. And then the good things is also that their fiscal space become abundant, and they can use a lot of resource that the income that they get from investment from the sovereign wealth fund to finance the deficit on their fiscals, to support the people, so they can decrease or don't take any taxes, and even they can give bonus and everything to support their free schooling, free a lot of bonus that they can have, and that mitigate all the issue that the impact of the inflation, for example, that suffered by the people. They can mitigate that with that more meticulously. I think that's a very interesting findings that we have found. We'll share that later on in the show.
Okay, I will contact you, Pak Prayudi. Yeah, this is interesting.
Thank you, Pak Prayudi, for the insights.
Okay, thanks. We have a question in the Q&A box from Yesi Fadila. If Mbak Yesi is willing to ask directly, I have opened the mic, but if not, I will read the question. Mbak Yesi, would you like to ask directly?
Okay.
Okay, so
I can try to.
okay,
respond.
let me just read it first part so that
Okay.
in the recording the question is asked. So your description is that of districts within provinces rich in gas have lower GDPs than those within provinces with poor gas reserve. The question is, shouldn't it be districts neighboring rich gas reserves compared to those neighboring poor gas reserves? So this is a question, I think, whether it's the adjacency gitu ya, neighbor berbatasan ya. Also, do you have data 10 years back before 2005? So I think you show in the slides back, going back 5 years, but do you have longer than 5 years? So that's the question.
Okay. So first, I think you're right. So in this study, we are focusing on the non-gas producing district. So all district in our sample is actually a district without any gas production, but they receive the revenue because they are located in province with have gas production. Though the location of gas production could be in the neighbor, in the district, or in different district, or in its in province. So it's actually we call it as a natural spillover effect. And second is about the data. Actually, we don't have those data because the revenue sharing mechanism from the natural gas extraction is started in the early 2000. I think the data is provided from 2002. So we don't have data about 5 or 10 years before the treatment started. Yeah, I think that's my answer for Mbak Yesi.
Thank you, Pak. So we still have a lot of time. I invite you to give your comments or ask questions. So this is the part of the role of the moderator nih, when there is not questions yet. So should come up with. Okay.
I think there is. In the chat.
And so Mbak Yesi just followed up regarding border. Will it be different if a district share border with the rich district? So this is more about like the physical location, the neighboring, rather than being located in the same district, but more about being adjacent.
Okay. So actually, we provide additional tests as I explained earlier. So neighboring district here is including both district, non-gas producing district that share the same border with the gas producing district, and also those that not share the same border. But to address the different impact of gas windfall on district that has a similar the same share the same border and not, we provide additional tests by dropping all district that the adjacent district, and the results are still significant. So why we argue that the negative impact of this gas windfall on neighboring economies is really caused by the this revenue windfall.
Okay. If you have any clarification questions, please feel free to write it in the Q&A box. So I'm interested in the mechanism of the revenue sharing, Pak Nasir. So how does it go when there is revenue? When do Ministry of Finance transfer the funds? And well, number one, when is Ministry of Finance receive the windfall, and then when do they transfer it to the districts? Would districts know that there is going to be windfall next year, or when do they know that there is going to be windfall? um, uh, uh, that they can receive. Because one of your results is that I think the reason for not having larger impacts on GDP, etc., is because they use it for um, personnel, for paying their employees. Is that one of the results? So my question is, well, because if they cannot anticipate the money, so they cannot make adequate planning. So they just the districts just undertake activities which are relatively easy to undertake in short notice, like hiring more employees, for example. So I'm interested in this whole mechanism of when the money comes in, when the districts get money, and when do they get the disbursement?
Oh, I think it's a great concern. I see your question. I think, yeah, it is possible. It's one of the reasons why the local government could not planning better how to use this kind of revenue, because this actually is related to how the state budget is planning, right? So, for example, this year government uh, should plan the budget for the next year based on the planning production, right? So, but it's actually it is only a plan. The actual revenue that the local government will receive is the actual production in the current year. So that is why it is the problem is if the plan is high, but in who can predict the price of this gas in the international market. It's difficult. So when the government have a bigger revenue in the plan, but in the realized revenue is, it could be smaller. So it could cause the problem for the local government in terms of their uh, revenue structure, and also will impact their spending planning, right? So it could be the source of the problem why this revenue sharing instead of impacted positively for the local economy, but instead it cause the negative impact. Thank you, Lydia.
Yeah. There is a question from Ginanjar in the Q&A box. This is regarding the production, the rich or poor gas production districts are determined by its production relative to the median production in 2001. So he wants to know if the justification for this, for choosing median production in 2001, and compare it to previous research, perhaps, that uses this method.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Pak Ginanjar, for that question. Yeah, so we use if we look at the categorization of whether province are rich or poor, yeah, it's based on the production level in 2001. Before our study started, the first year of our study is in 2022. So in 2002, sorry. So we argue that by using the production level in 2001, then our setting will be more exogenous, right? So the production level in 2001 will not influenced by the variables such as economic, socio-economic variables in later years. So that's why we choose the production level in 2001. But I can assure you that actually the gas production in Indonesia is not changed in later years. So rich province is still in that year is still rich gas province until now. So during this study period, rich provinces decided in 2001 until the last year of the study, 2015, is still are rich provinces in terms of gas production in Indonesia. So this is the reason. That is the reason why we choose 2001. And for the information, the median on that year is about 6.2 million barrel oil equivalent a year. So province with gas production above 6 million, then in this data set, we categorize them as the rich gas province. And if the production level below 6 million barrel oil equivalent, then they are scarce gas provinces. Yeah, that's all is my answer for Pak Ginanjar.
Thank you, Pak Nasir. We have a question from Pak Asep Suryadi from Semeru. Hello, Pak Asep. Thanks for coming. He congratulates you on a very good paper, and asks, is it possible to do the following placebo test? A follow-up placebo test, I think. The treatment group is districts in province neighboring of gas-producing provinces, and the control group is districts in provinces far from gas-producing provinces. So this is an interesting test, I think. I think it's linked to the question by Yesi, yeah, about this geographical location aspects, whether like neighboring as in adjacent or in this case far from the gas producing provinces.
Oh, okay. I see. Pak Asep suggestion. Thank you very much, Pak. So with your suggestion, meaning that our setting will be more exogenous and far from endogenous problem because the location become farther than the location we choose in our study setting. Thank you, Pak Asep. We will try to provide those tests.
Thank you, Pak Asep. And if you have other questions or comments, please feel free to raise hand or write again. So we still have some time if you would like to ask question or provide comments. We will be sharing the slides. I will put the link in the chat box later on. It's the usual FKP Google Drive for the slides. The paper is, I think, being prepared for publication, so cannot be shared yet. Anyone? Maybe I have another question. You haven't mentioned, I think, in the presentation, although there is some in the paper, about probably your recommendation or policy intervention that can be done based on your study path. Also, I'm interested because now there is a new newer decentralization law. I'm quite foreign to this area. Is the revenue sharing still the same with in this new decentralization law compared to the previous law?
Okay, thank you, Mbak Widas. I haven't checked the new law regarding the revenue sharing from the resource windfall. And but even though other study, as I mentioned in my conclusion, that still needed to look at uh, how to try to improve or to find a way that the revenue sharing could help local government to perform better in terms of the economic development in their location. Because actually it's not only my paper, there are other papers that find that the revenue sharing in Indonesia actually cause some socio-economic problems such as increasing poverty and also poverty gap among districts. So, but from the result of this paper, I think we need to think again about how to find out more appropriate mechanism for sharing the resource windfall, particularly because in based on current regulation, uh, the socio-economic problem of local, of district or provincial government are not considered in in the mechanism. So, just for example, maybe we think about the problem that faced by the local governments, such as poverty, infrastructure or development status of each district could be some indicator in deciding the amount of revenue that could be saved for the local government based on those factors. And I think some other countries already try to incorporate those factors, maybe like mining sector in Peru, or maybe if I'm not mistaken, also in Brazil for oil and gas. So maybe we have to look further about more appropriate revenue sharing mechanism.
Bayesi has a comment also in the Q&A box about policy recommendations should wait for the results of mechanism or channeling studies. So I think are there channeling or channeling studies being done?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, the channeling studies here are still not tested yet due to the limited data. So we already try to see the potential impact of how local government spend the revenue from gas windfall in their program. And it seems that, as I mentioned, uh, local government the spending the majority of spending of by local government is goes for the funding related to the personal spending, not for other spending that can support the economic development or addressing the socio economic problem in their area.
Okay, so I don't see any other comments or questions. So last chance. So if not, then maybe I will give Pak Nasir last opportunity to give maybe last words about the study and also what the main takeaway that you would like the attendees to get from this study.
So actually, in short, this study actually to further test what people said about the resource use related to natural resource extraction in a local setting. So I think this study will be important when we're talking about how about the economic regional economic development, how to try to help uh, to reduce the gap, economic gap among local government, district or province, particularly between rich resource province and poor resource province. And also, I hope with the result from this study, we can try to find a better way how to share the revenue from natural resource extraction for the better performance of both the central government and the local government. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, I spoke too soon because there's a comment, I guess, from Pak Haris, not a question but a comment. But is it possible that there is migration in terms of labor from poor gas districts to rich gas districts? So this is, I guess, a comment or question. Is it possible that this is
Okay.
the the cause of your findings?
Okay. Thank you, Pak Faisal. Yeah, we already thought about this variable, but because of the limit data we have, then we haven't provided a test regarding the migration of people due to the resource extraction, particularly gas. But actually, the migration, the migration of the population. It could be assessed in terms of the natural spillover effect because let's say if in a region that produce resources, then it may attract many worker or people from those different areas to come to the extraction site. But I have to mention about previous study uh, also concern can related to your concern with Paul Hecke 2020 2021. So they find that actually for resources that have or needed capital intensive, the the potential of spillover effect due to the migration is less likely to happen. Let's say this gas extraction could not attract the people in general because the worker in this sector is need some very high qualified worker, different from general mining. If like coal or gold or nickel, it could cause the big migration of the people that currently happen in many areas in Indonesia, but it's different from oil and gas. So Paul Hacker said that for this kind of resources, the extraction could not attract many big migration of the people because of this sector is very capital intensive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Nasir. Thanks again, everyone, for coming, and also perhaps you can give a big virtual clap. Yeah, thank you to Pak Nasir for your time and effort in presenting. And hopefully this will be useful. The link to the slides are in the chat box. So if you would like a copy of the slides, please see the link. Oh, actually, we now have few raised hands. I was about to close, but let's allow if you are okay, let's allow Ibu Silviana Tanyu. Maybe you would like to ask a question or give a comment. I have opened the mic, Pak, Mbak Silviana. Mbak Silviana, or is that maybe sometimes people click the raise hand when they want to actually click the emojis. Okay, so before I close, thanks again, Pak Nasir. Good luck with the
And
finalization.
also, I thanks for all participants. I got many interesting and important insight from this forum. Thank you again. And I will copy the chat, of course, because we are still working on this paper.
Okay, I'm glad if it's useful.
Yeah.
So thanks again. And before I close the Zoom, please you can join our next FKP event, which will be next week. Before I close, I will show the event on the screen. It's on COVID-19 in COVID-19 assistance in Cambodia, presentation by Ari Perdana. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mbak Widya.
Thank you, Mbak Lydia.
Oh, thank you, Mbak Silviana.